Good afternoon, Internet and YouTube and all the rest of the world, I guess. Haven't done a video in a while and thought it was certainly past time for me to do one. Um, what made me think about it was the fact that it's my day off on Tuesday. Best time to make a video, at least one that's not rushed or off the cuff. And I just got done vacuuming the room that I'm sitting in and a lot of the rest of the house. Um, this might not seem strange to most folks, but it got me thinking about the fact that there are still corners of this country and a lot of other places in the world where such activities, such work, vacuuming, y'all have to excuse Misty the cat. She's in heat and yelling. But there are places where certain types of work are considered men's or women's work. Funnily enough, by both men and women. There are cultures where men protect their right not to do certain things and their right to do certain things, and likewise cultures where women protect their right to do certain things, certain work, and they protect it from men. Cultural traditions aside, in other places, it got me thinking about the fact that there are still Americans who believe that certain types of work belong only to one sex or the other. And at least in America and in our culture, that's utterly ridiculous. On my days off, mainly Tuesday, a little bit on Sunday, I maintain things around the house. I do laundry, I do dishes, I vacuum, I clean, I pick up. If we went down a list of the things I've done today, I've changed the sheets on the bed. I'm on my third load of laundry. I've done the dishes. There's more dishes to do. I still need to clean the kitchen counters. I just vacuumed about half of the house. I washed my car. Oh, I have a visitor. It's Misty. Misty. I washed out the garbage can because, we don't do it often enough, but every once in a while your garbage can needs actual cleaning. And there's more things I'm going to do. Now, when I was a kid, there was still a large portion of America where this sort of work was done mainly by women, mainly by what I would consider a subculture, not even really like the mainstream culture at the time, of dedicated homemakers, housewives, whatever you would call ladies like that. My grandmother was one. She never had to hold down a job outside the house. And I learned a lot of this from my mother and my grandmother. And what I learned was not that it was women's jobs to do that, but that it was somebody's job to do it because they lived in a certain space and they had responsibility to keep up with the area that they had. It just occurred to me that this might seem to be going down some weird Jordan Peterson route. Never watched or listened to Jordan Peterson, but the barest minimum that I've garnered from it is that he told people they should clean their room to be successful men, and that men are not men anymore. Um, I learned from women mainly, also from men. My dad's a good example. That you should keep up with the things that you have, the things that you've been blessed with, that you should try to maintain them. They're your responsibility. Um, I would vastly prefer to goof off and do any number of things, watch TV, play computer games, play guitar, just do nothing. And I try to do that any chance I get, to be honest. Um, but I also got to thinking that, while there's this weird movement of encouraging men to be men and women to be women in American culture today, I think it's far more important to encourage people to be um, to do good. I think that's the best way to put it. And doing good doesn't just mean work, and it doesn't just mean leisure, um, but it means all of these things. I've had some time today also to just relax and enjoy playing a game or playing guitar early this morning. But I've also done a lot of work around the house, and we have a responsibility to ourselves, to each other, to do these things, to do good for other people when we have the chance, keep up the things that we've been blessed with so that they remain blessings and not just gifts that we throw away. Um, I I have so much more than I feel like I deserve that I I do feel the need to constantly show my love and appreciation for the things I have, the people I have, by working to maintain them. Um, that doesn't mean we don't also find times where we just can't do it. We just can't deal with it, because we do find ourselves in a place sometimes where we don't have the fortitude to do things we know need doing. That's perfectly natural and human to not be able to cope with. Really what it comes down to is the reason I've encountered a lot of people in my family who've been told you just seem to have it all together, and their response is, I don't have anything together. And I think that's true. I think it's true for so many people that we don't have it together. We're just doing what we can, doing the best we can. And for me, though, the most important bit is to actually be doing the best that I can. Um, that doesn't mean I'm better than anybody. It doesn't mean I'm going to be more successful or richer than anybody. Um, but it is important that I do try to do the best that I can. Sometimes the best that I can is not enough to accomplish what needs to be done at the time. That's why we rely on one another. That's why my wife and I rely on each other, and we have our daughter involved in things to help, because we look at other people and see, because we live inside of our own heads and our consciousness is within our own brain. We see other people that way too, as if they are just individuals all the time um, who either have it together or don't, or work hard or don't, or good people or not. But the reality is we're all intertwined, and we all have to work together to accomplish the things that need doing in life. Um, so I've been working around the house, doing housework, and there are men that I know who would say that that's women's work, and that's ridiculous. Work is work. It doesn't matter what the work is, if it needs doing, if it's worth doing, if it's good. It doesn't matter who does it. Um, my dad uh, almost never sits down, or at least he used to not. He probably does more. He just had a birthday a few days ago. Um, uh, my mom works, but she also very much takes time to relax. And uh, likewise, when I think about women's work as a concept, the idea that cooking and cleaning and things are women's work, um, I was in the Air Force in the uh, Georgia Air National Guard. Went through Air Force basic training, uh, security, police, tech school, and the number one rule was, well, not the number one rule, but a major aspect of military life is to excuse me, maintain your area. That doesn't mean um, that you're immune. That means you're not immune to anything. Uh, Millions of people who have served in the military have done kitchen patrol, KP, uh, which is where you do dishes and help serve food and maintain uh, food service for other troops. And likewise, cleaning, I mean, on a granular level that most people can't imagine, cleaning the living space of um, 50 to 100 men or women. This is a simple, everyday aspect of military life. And it teaches you to keep up with what you have, that there's no such thing as work that you're better than doing. You're not better than any sort of work. There's neither women's work nor men's work. There's only work that's worth doing. If you find yourself doing work that's not worth doing, stop, reevaluate, and move on to something that is worth doing. If you find yourself thinking that just because your mama kept up with your laundry and your dishes and cooked the food and all that, that you somehow don't have to do that, rethink things, because uh, all of those things are merely aspects of life. They are not aspects of gender or of sex. Um, I don't think that the world needs waking up and to be fixed and needs guidance, and that men today aren't men enough and women aren't ladylike enough. That's a bunch of nonsense. The world hasn't changed ever. It's been the same. Now, there are moments in time that are significant, and there are historical events that we can reflect upon and see drastic changes, like in World War II in America, when all of a sudden vast numbers of women entered into jobs that they would not probably have otherwise done. But then the war was over, and America lost its mind and told women that they belonged at home so that their husbands could have jobs, and they needed to maintain that for the sake of the culture. Um, Historically, I find it hard to believe that most cultures didn't have shared distribution of labor across sexes of all things. We know that women went to war thousands of years ago. We know that men cooked thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. We know that the notion that uh, the sex that you were born determines your type of chores is ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. So I guess my point and purpose in making this video today was to say, put your hand to something good. Do the work that's in front of you. Help, whether it's in your family, in your community, or with yourself, to keep that which you've been blessed with, to maintain that which you've been given, to work for the betterment of yourself and others. We're all in this life together, and we may not always be on the same side of things. We may not always agree about how we should proceed. Somebody might want to wash dishes instead of cleaning the bathroom, but it all needs doing in this life. All the work, everything that we find in front of us needs doing. So get stuck in. If you're not up to it today, that's fine. It happens. But try to wake up tomorrow ready to do it. If you're not up for it tomorrow, well, reevaluate. Try to find a way forward. Try to find a solution to what might be standing between you and doing what you know you need to do. And never let anybody tell you that the work that you're doing is not worthy, that it doesn't belong to you, or that it doesn't that you should find something else to do, because all good work is worthy. So if you haven't watched this, thanks. I hope it's not too ranty, and I hope it doesn't come off as self-righteous, because really all I was thinking about was how unfortunate it is that there are people unwilling to put their hand to the work that's in front of them because they believe it belongs to somebody else. So anyway, hope everybody has a good day and have a good Tuesday.